Hello everybody, welcome to another interesting video on Data Analyst Interview questions and answers. In today's video, we'll explore some very common and general questions that every data analyst faces during the interview. The questions cover various aspects of the role, like the day-to-day challenges faced by the data analysts, best practices to follow for various tasks, quick interpretations from the data set, etc. Let's find out the interview's purpose behind each question, a right approach to answer, and a sample answer for each of these questions. So, ready to take a dive? Fantastic. Let's start. Question number 1. What are some of the common problems faced by data analysts? Now, see, your answer to this question tells the interviewer about your understanding of this role, which tells them that you know what to exactly expect in this profile. Basically, your exposure to the process and your ability to get your way out of it. So, to answer this question, you can say some of the most common problems faced by the data analysts include things like number 1, data accessibility. If there isn't a centralized database, we see that the data is scattered across departments and applications. So, getting access to this required data is the first challenge we face as data analysts, because each department has its own priorities. The second problem that we face is data integration. Now, this gets tricky because the data coming from multiple disjointed sources doesn't match. The reason is it has not been updated everywhere and hence is asymmetrical. Moreover, the format, structure, file type of the data from various sources don't match, posing a problem in integrating it. Now, the third challenge that we face as data analysts is data quality, because the data that comes to us usually contains errors, missing values, inconsistencies, and needs cleaning. It also needs to be converted to a format that is analyzable. Cleaning and data wrangling are two activities required to make this data usable, and they consume a lot of time. The next challenge is data preparation, because the records contain unwanted characters many a times, like percentage signs, ampersand, and other symbols or punctuations. Then there are also non-identical duplicates, currencies in different denominations, different measurement units, etc. All of these things need to be dealt with to make the data analyzable. Then the next problem is juggling the technologies. Now, juggling the technologies to join the data from multiple sources, finding and replacing the data without modifying the original source, producing a data set that contains every combination of the two or more tables, producing reports with data from so many different sources gets overwhelming many a times. Now, the next challenge that we usually face is the changing requirements from the management and stakeholders, which also disturb the flow of the work. Then there is always a time constraint, because the more time you spend on data preparation means there is lesser time for meaningful data analysis. And one of the biggest problems or the challenges that we face is communicating unpleasant findings. While communicating accurate insights to the stakeholders is very, very important for them to make the right decision, many a times it is very difficult to convey unfavorable outcomes. To overcome these challenges, it is very important to keep upgrading your technical skills and develop effective communication skills so that you can convey these insights very effectively. Fantastic. Let's move on to question number 2 now. What best practices would you recommend to maintain clean data? Now see, this question is not asking you about the techniques for data cleaning. Rather, it is asking you about the best practices to ensure that the data collected in your database is as close as possible to being called clean in the first place. Your answer to this question basically tells about your understanding of two things. Number 1, at what stage do errors creep in? And number 2, how can they be minimized? To answer this question, you can say some of the common issues that we notice while cleaning the data are duplicate entries, conflicting errors, incomplete entries, and invalid entries. If we can avoid them, the data quality will automatically improve. Now, for this to happen, I would recommend following 5 things. Number 1, ensure correct data entry. Implementing a standardized entry procedure across all the entry points can go a very long way in reducing human errors while entering the data. Use drop-down boxes and predefined formats as far as possible. Number 2, data validation, which means validate the data as soon as it is entered. Cross-check the data with external sources or SMEs for accuracy. Then it is very important to discourage duplicate entries. Standardize the procedure. Promote standardized data collection to promote uniformity. For example, standardize the units of measurements to be used, etc. Then it is very important to encourage collecting complete data based on the goals. This will reduce the number of missing values. And to ensure that all this is in place, it is very important to have a data governance policy, because adherence to these guidelines and practices that promote the data integrity can come with periodic audits of the database, and having a quality control system can also go a long way in ensuring this. Fantastic. Let's move on to question number 3 now. What factors do you take into consideration to determine if a data model is good or not? Now see, the first thing to understand here is, don't get bothered if you hear this type of a question in the interview, because this is something that you work with every day as a data analyst. Just try to understand the question. It is just asking you, what are the characteristics of a good data model? So before we go any further, the first important tip that I've got for you here is, listen carefully to what is being asked. It might be something very simple, just asked in different words. To answer this question, you can say, every data model is built to help the stakeholders make some business decisions. So if it meets the intended goals accurately and effectively, it is good. Some of the important factors to understand if a data model is good or not are, number 1, accuracy and efficiency. Does it generate accurate output efficiently and at a good speed, consistently or not? The second thing is generalization. Is it able to generalize to new and unseen data without underfitting or overfitting it? Then we check upon the fairness and unbiasedness. Is it fair and unbiased when used for decision making? Is it scalable? If the business requirements grow tomorrow or the size of the dataset increases, would it be scalable? Now, the next factor to take into consideration is the interpretability of your data model. Is the output of your data model easy to interpret even by the non-technical stakeholders or not? And lastly, if you think that now you have got a good data model in place, make sure that you document it thoroughly. Ensure that you have a thorough documentation of all the assumptions you have made, methodologies you have used, and any limitations of the data model. Because this documentation is invaluable for future references. Okay, now let's move on to question number 4, which is again a very important question for any data analyst. And you'll find this question being asked at most of the interviews. The question is, what are the most common types of data visualization charts? What are some best practices to produce charts that communicate effectively? Now, to answer this question, you can say, well, data visualization charts are an opportunity to convey the findings from the data in a compelling manner visually and put forth a convincing argument. Selecting the right type of chart plays a very important role in communicating the hidden insights of a data effectively. Some of the most common types of data visualization charts that we use are bar chart, line chart, pie chart, donut chart, area chart, etc. Then we also have scatter plot, histograms, heat map charts, tree map charts, box plot, choropleth map, etc. Now, if you notice closely, you'll find that the two very important qualities of all the charts that are able to communicate effectively are, number 1, they are visually appealing, and number 2, they are able to drive engagement. So, following a certain best practices that can help you achieve both these things. The first one is having a clear goal, because having a clear purpose for each visualization in a way that contributes to your overall narrative is going to be really useful. Then simplicity and consistency is very important. Avoid clutter. Be consistent with your colors, fonts, presentation, everything. Too many colors, elements, and fonts can cause distractions. Then having sufficient white space is very important because they help you gain the reader's interest at the right place and improve the legibility of your document. Now, the fourth thing that I've got on the list is really important. Pay attention. And it is selecting the right kind of chart. The wrong type of charts don't communicate anything. Choose the charts that help the readers get an insight into the data easily and quickly. The design of your charts should be responsive to fit on every screen type and device. To make your charts interactive, make use of some filters. This is going to take you a very long way. Adhering to these best practices, we can create engaging and informative visuals that communicate complicated insights of the data very, very easily to the stakeholders. And question number 5 now. What do central tendency and dispersion tell you about any given data set? Now, to answer this question, you can say the first thing to understand here is the central tendency and dispersion are used to measure and understand how is the data spread and distributed in the data set. The three measures of central tendency are mean, mode, and median. Mean is when you find the average of the data set by summing up all the data figures and dividing the value by the total number of data points. Mode is value which occurs maximum number of times in the data set. There can be more than such values. And the median is the value that falls in the center when you arrange the data in ascending or descending order. If it is a normal symmetrical distribution, mean lies at the center and coincides with mode and median. In a positively skewed distribution, the mean lies to the right of the median and mode. It is also larger than both of them. In a negatively skewed distribution, the mean lies to the left of the mode or the peak and is smaller than the mode and median, both of them. So what we notice from here is that the mean is highly sensitive to the outliers, while mode and median are far more resistant to them. Okay, coming to dispersion now. So this dispersion is measured using the measures like range, variance, standard deviation, coefficient of variance, etc. Coming to range first of all. So this range is the difference between the maximum and the minimum value. A larger range suggests wider spread of the data points. However, if the range is small, it suggests that the data points are concentrated. The data is concentrated. Variance quantifies how much do the data points deviate from the mean. Low variance suggests that the data points are concentrated around the mean. Now, standard deviation. It is the square root of variance. Coefficient of variance, it is expressed in percentage. It is actually the ratio of standard deviation and mean. These measures give the data analysts an insight into the distribution and spread of the data points. That is why they are very, very important to them. So friends, with this we come to the end of this video, and I sincerely hope that it helps you in cracking your interview. Some days back, we released a video on conceptual questions asked to the data analysts during the interview. If you have not seen it already, ensure that you do watch it before your interview. Very soon, I'll also get you a video on situational interview questions asked to the data analyst. Stay tuned for that. If you found today's video useful, do give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends also. To stay updated with more such videos, subscribe to the channel now. I'll see you very soon with a new video. Till then, bye-bye and take care.